we are here today to discuss nature, friend or foe. So, most think of nature as good, while humans and human interventions are often seen as problematic and even on occasion evil. From eradicating E-numbers from our diet to refusing vaccines, many are motivated by the idea that nature knows best. And yet malaria is natural, the malaria vaccine is not. Crop failure, hurricanes, tsunamis, all are deadly and all are natural. Human actions are essential to extend and save lives from natural calamity. So is our attachment to nature undermining belief in ourselves? Should we have more faith in human and less trust in nature? Or are we right to be skeptical of human intervention, and should we see the renewed reverence for nature as a positive return to an ancient and essential belief? Then again, should we accept that we are part of the natural world and give up on the false distinction between real and artificial, natural and unnatural? So with that, to our illustrious speakers, to my right and through the power of the internet, a human intervention, Yuval Noah Harari is a world-renowned public intellectual and historian. He is the author of international bestsellers such as *Sapiens: A Brief History of Humankind* and *Homo Deus: A Brief History of the Future*. His books have sold more than 20 million copies worldwide. To my left, I have the pleasure of introducing Slavoj Žižek, who is a Hegelian psychoanalyst and arguably the leading celebrity philosopher of our times. Idiosyncratic and fiercely polemical, apparently Slavoj is currently serving as international director of the Birkbeck Institute for Humanities. Not that you could tell from the way he's dressed. Foreign policy named Zizek a top 100 global thinker for giving voice to an era of absurdity. But what I'm going to do, in fact, is ask both of these speakers an opening question, which is, should we have more faith in the human and less trust in nature? Yuval, I trust you've heard every word that I've said because I can barely see you on this screen. Fabulous, joining us from the ether. Please, could you take it away? You have 3 minutes to tell us whether or not we should have more faith in the human and less trust in nature.
Well, two things to say about nature. One is that nature doesn't care about us in particular. I mean, if an asteroid would hit planet Earth tomorrow morning and all life on Earth will be destroyed, nature wouldn't care about it. It would just go on as usual. Planets and stars explode all the time, and physics just goes on. The second point is that, it's really, I never really know what to say about this seeming binary division between humans and nature, because you can never violate the laws of nature. Nothing that humans or anybody else can do can break the laws of nature. Anything which is possible is by definition also natural. Whether it's genetic engineering, whether it's the internet, whether it's vaccinations, it's all natural. Because the laws of nature are not like the laws of a state. That a state makes a law, let's say you can't drive more than 90 kilometers per hour. That's the law of the state. And you nevertheless drive 120 kilometers per hour, and a policeman stops you and gives you a ticket, a fine. It doesn't work like that with nature. Nature, it doesn't give us some kind of law, and then we break it. I don't know, we do genetic engineering, and then it punishes us for this. It just doesn't work like that. So I think we should be suspicious both of humans and of nature. And the big question to ask about anything is not whether it is natural. Everything is natural. The big question to ask is whether it causes suffering, it causes harm. Wars are natural, but they are still bad. And climate change is bad, not because it's somehow against nature, but because it potentially would cause immense suffering to humans and to other sentient beings. So that's the big question.
Fascinating. Okay. Well, Slavoj, what do you think? Do you think we should have more faith in humans? Do you think we should trust nature less? Do you want to tell Yuval he's wrong?
No, I have a big problem here because where are the knives? I basically agree with what Yuval just said. I mean, no, because I know he's often accused of being like too popular, but I think he is saying things nonetheless in a clear, serious way. Mm-hmm. And what more fascinates me is to what extent, even if we rationally accept this and know, we don't really believe into it. I think this is even, I wonder if you would agree, what in psychoanalysis we call fetishist split. In French, je sais bien, mais quand même. I know this how things are, but somehow in me I am not convinced. I think that's the problem with ecology. Yeah, I know what science says, but you go outside here, sun is shining, nature. So quickly. So, yes, I agree with him. First, all is nature, of course. But here comes one, I hope you all will agree, a tricky point. We nonetheless, deep in our, I call it, as an old Marxist, everyday ideology, we nonetheless usually associate with nature a certain more or less regular pattern, rhythm. So that, and this is what I radically reject, this idea that there is some natural pattern and we humans, with our hubris, excessive exploitation or what, we are disturbing this pattern. More on this later. I would just like to remind you along the lines of what Yuval hinted, I think. Listen, just think about what are today our main sources of energy still. Coal and oil. Can you even imagine what mega catastrophes must have happened on our Earth for us to have this? We are a consequence of natural, we live off natural disasters. Just the last thing, I wonder how Yuval will respond. I read recently, even in the big media, that now according to the latest news, even this vision of global warming, it's too optimist because it somehow implies that there will be a new regular pattern, just a little bit worse. Temperatures higher, a couple of cities, big cities under the sea, but it will be a new pattern. The predictions now says, what if, and it happens often in nature, what if there will be no new pattern, but as it happens in nature again, for a long time we will live in a much more radically chaotic universe. So nature is everything, just to finish, I know you can count on my other minutes, but let's not forget that in some sense, don't be afraid, I'm a naturalist, I'm not an idealist, that nature is everything. All the catastrophes also come from nature, so sorry for a small vulgarity, if we have a mother nature, this mother is a dirty bitch, let's face it.
There we go, folks.
Sorry, just the opposite, but everything is also culture. Not in the idealist sense, but in the sense, just look at the history of the notion of nature, how it changes. Nature was in medieval times something totally different than modern nature from sciences today, something different. Now, I'm not saying nature is just a cultural construct. I'm just saying that what we perceive as natural is always part of a cultural process.
To continue watching this video, click the link in the top left or in the description below. Or visit iai.tv for more debates and talks from the world's leading thinkers on today's biggest ideas.